Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario. Welcome to another episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups. This right here is my dog Lily eating, I don't remember what these, bully sticks, that's it. She's eating a bully stick, and I decided to give her one because right before this I decided to get a thumbnail for this video, and you know what? She provided such an awesome thumbnail. You can't eat that all at once. You really can't eat that all at once. Anyway, she provided such an awesome thumbnail that I decided to give her one of her favorite. You okay, Lily? You're not really getting that. Jesus Christ. We're gonna... Lily, you know what? Hold on, let me figure out what the hell's going on with this dog. All right, you know, I tried to wrestle it away from her because I was thinking, okay, maybe this isn't gonna work out. She's eaten these things before just fine, but I think it was maybe just a little too long and maybe a little bit too curved, and it was kind of making her gag a bit, but she seems to be okay, so she's just gonna work on that, and I'll have her in the room here, so I'll monitor everything. But anyways, while she enjoys that, this is Thrifty Gaming Pickups. This is my dog Lily, of course, and this is the series where I go through and show you all some of the stuff that I end up picking up. This is just, you know, gaming related things, whether it be, I guess, you know, anything gaming related, especially games, consoles, controllers, what have you. And by related, you'll see what I mean. But generally, I pick this stuff up at game shops, thrift shops, could be garage sales, although I haven't done that in a long time. So we're going to go ahead and see what we have here. And I end up getting some things that I'm pretty happy with, I would say. And I'd say this is a good haul. This is a console-free haul, mind you, but still a haul that I'm happy with nonetheless. I guess we should probably go from left to right here. So first of all, this is actually the most recent stuff, and by most recent I mean I got this stuff yesterday, and this is the final stop that I had in my, you know, area of places where I wanted to go to pick things up. But I ended up going, and this shop had a half-off sale on a few different things. First of all was these PS2 games, and then kind of a few other things as well, too. I guess first, you know, we can knock these out. Got Ira Drag Racing 2, where I believe I had the first one on PS1, got rid of it, always saw the second one. This is a Bethesda Software Games as well, too. And, you know, I've never played this game, this second one, so it'll be fun to give this a try, see what it's all about with drag racing and all that fun stuff, get that next gen feel compared to the first one. I end up grabbing this and got this as well too, another game I had never played, but I said, you know what, if I'm maybe feeling like I want to play some childhood type stuff, you know, Jimmy Neutron, nostalgia, all that fun stuff, I'll give this a shot here. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, Attack of the Twonkies, I believe that's what it is. I remember this being advertised, and I remember, of course, watching the show, but alright. Figured I'd pick it up because the case has seen better days, but oh well. Still good enough. These two here, well, actually, I'm not even gonna say the price on that yet until I tell you all, you know, everything I've gone through here. Next up, surprisingly, I end up going and at the same store, so these were in like the game section. They end up changing where the game section was. I found these two in the game section here, and then I found these two in the DVD section, and they're both Wii U games that I don't own. So Call of Duty Ghosts, it's, in my opinion, one of the worst Call of Duties out there, if not the worst one. But I have Black Ops 2 on the Wii U. Figured I'll get Call of Duty Ghosts as well. So now I have both Call of Duty games on the Wii U. And Watch Dogs, which this one actually shocked people. I posted up a photo on Twitter of these two games with the guide and the box set right there. And one person on there, Mark, he was just like, wait, they made Watch Dogs on Wii U. It's like, yep, this, you know, I don't even know if this would be counted as rare or not, but I really don't think it sold all that well. But either way, you know, if you get past the first act on Watch Dogs, it's actually a really fun game to get into. Just that first act is not very good in my opinion. But yeah, end up getting these two on the Wii U. I was quite surprised with that. We're starting to see, if you've noticed from the past few episodes, not every single one, but in the past few episodes, at least the more recent ones, you're starting to see Wii U titles here and there. There's even been a few times I have missed out on Wii U titles because they already have games in stock that I have, so I don't want to buy a second copy. But there are still a few Wii U games that I'm finding which I don't own, and if I can pick them up at thrift stores, why not? The next thing I got here was this, which I actually saw the last time I went to this particular shop, but let me actually run it by for you here. So, no. We'll talk about this. We already brought this up. So, right here, the Grand Theft Auto 3 official strategy guide. Now, I kind of thought of getting it before, and I left it there. And then when I saw it here, one thing I've noticed with me is if there's like one item, like let's say there was only Call of Duty Ghosts, if it was something I was really interested in, I would pick it up. But if there was only one item, I'm just like, you know, there's only one thing, I'm getting an okay deal on it, and there's nothing else I really want in this store. Do I want to wait 10-20 minutes? Nah, okay, I'll be good, I'll put it back. And that was it with this thrift store. This is the only time, like the last time I went prior to this was the only thing I saw which I was somewhat interested in, and I said, you know what, I already have it. But I took a bit of a closer look at it, and first of all, this is the PC guide, which I do not own. I own this guide already, but this one is actually thicker and smaller than the one I have, because the one I have is for the PS2. And another thing I noticed is, well, let's see, the maps are in color here. I've actually never looked at these color maps until now, so that's cool. But the rest of the guide is all in black and white. And I feel like just from a glance here, I feel like it's a bit more detailed than the PS2 one I have, which technically isn't really a bad thing. Now, I also ran this by Vadim M. He is a YouTuber who does a lot of GTA beta analysis type videos and content and all that stuff, and I ran this guide by him. He said he doesn't like this guide as much, one, because it is black and white, and two, the other thing is, I guess this would only really appeal to him, not so much other people. So this would technically be better for the retail audience. He said there's really not as much beta stuff in here. There's like one beta thing in here, but aside from that, they end up axing a lot of the beta content, which the original guide had. So this one has the final retail build content, unfortunately for him at least. So end up grabbing this, and the last thing here, before we start getting into the prices, is the Grand Theft Auto Vice City official soundtrack box set. Now, working backwards, this is actually the first thing I saw. You see, this store that I go to, they've just established it. They have a vintage section where they have, vintage is a very loose word. They have comic books, they have anime DVDs, they have anime VHS tapes, they have new toys, old toys. They had this stuff, for example, which neither of these are vintage, but I saw this box and I immediately knew what it is, and I zoomed over to it and I was just saying out loud because I was talking to my girlfriend. I was like, no way, no way, no way. So unfortunately, actually you can't even tell here. Well, you could tell a little bit. There's some white spots there because there was this nasty tape here which I had to kind of carefully take off. It does have general wear and tear, which is about to be expected. There you could see the white spots a lot more. That's just from the tape. But I took it out and I couldn't believe it. Every single disc was here, and there is volumes 1 through 7, just kind of going through them here. There's Emotion, Fever, Wave, Wild Style Pirate Radio, Flash, V-Rock, and Radio. I'm not even going to try and say that. I don't want to butcher it. But either way, I owned this because back in the day, they actually sold all of these separately. So they even sold them in Walmart, and I think they were like 10 or 12 bucks a piece, something like that. Or you could buy the box set and you end up saving a few dollars in total if you want to buy all 7. But I bought V-Rock and I bought Wild Style Pirate Radio, so I actually own these 2 already, but the other 5 I did not have. So this was really awesome to see. And funny enough, even years ago, I ended up looking this up and I tried to price it out online. And I don't remember what the exact prices were, but it was enough for me to be like, you know what, I don't need it. I don't need it. It was high enough where I said I did not need to pay the price. But either way, I looked here. There's only 2 discs which have scratches on them. The other ones have like smudges here and there, but it looks like only this disc right here and this disc. Those are the only ones that are in, moderate shape. And those two, of course, since I have a disc resurfacer, I don't mind fixing them, but I even looked and they're perfectly playable. They're just not in perfect shape. But the price on this they were asking for, so let me get into the prices here. The price on this was higher than I expected. This, to me, in my opinion, is overpriced for a thrift store, but it was $41. And I looked it up. I was like, okay, 41, do I want to pay that? Now, I looked it up, and right now, if I was able to buy this on eBay, which I can, but if I wanted to, it's like $70 minimum for this box set. I was surprised to see, I guess people didn't buy it in as big of quantities as Rockstar expected. I'm not sure. But yeah, about the cheapest I'm seeing for this is around $70, which you price that out at about $10 per disc. That's how much they were selling individually for back in the day. It's interesting to me, at least. But I said, you know what, $41, this is something I've actually been interested in. Let me go ahead and grab that. This right here, the guide, was $4, as you can see. I actually couldn't even tell directly there. It was funny though. While I was freaking out about this, my girlfriend was just like, oh, hey, look, Grand Theft Auto 3 guide. And I'm like, this is the same guide I passed up a few weeks ago, but I'm gonna buy it now because the circumstances and the emotions are just way too high for this. Then for all of these games here, they're games they sell for $2.48 a piece, but then they were half off. So these two were half off, so they were about $1.25. These two were not half off, so they ended up being, $2.48, about $2.50 a piece, let's say. Now, this guide here, I want to say, I think it was, no, this was it, all right. So this ended up being $2, and this right here, or no, excuse me, no. Since that's a white tag, that ended up being $4, which I guess a little higher than I expected, but all well, because I thought they were just going to charge me book price, but they ended up putting a sticker right there. This, though, I was prepared to pay the full price. I honestly was, because they even said, this is in the vintage area, and they said there, hey, anything that's vintage is not going to be applied towards the discount there. And I saw, V for vintage. But the guy looked at it and said, oh, that's a green tag, so that's half off. So I end up paying $20.50 before tax for this, which is an even better deal. So let's round it up, $21. So $21 for the Vice City official soundtrack box set. That makes me very happy. On top of getting the GTA 3 guide right here, my all-time favorite game, and getting, a couple of Wii U games, which I don't have, for only $2.50 each. I'd say that was a really good haul right there, just from one store. Now, getting into a few of the other places that I went to, and Lily is still, if you can see her right there, she's still just diligently working on that. She hasn't choked, she hasn't freaked out or anything, so I think after I tried to wrestle it away from her and she wouldn't let it go, it weakened it enough where she was able to eat it. But either way, let's go ahead and see what else we have here. So, you know what, I guess I'm just resting right on this. This little stack was all from one place. So I end up getting this Xbox 360 controller, which honestly has seen much better days. This actually had electrical tape on it, and I took it off because I didn't know if there was a chunk of this controller missing or not. But from what I see, this is also a newer model of the 360 controller. It's missing the back, but, I have a few of those back pieces to hold the batteries. But I end up getting this for, I believe it was $3. So $3 for this, not at all a bad price. I will need to clean it. I am going to take it apart thoroughly, give it a nice bath, and then put it back together. But I figured, for $3, and I'll also replace the thumbsticks as well. For $3 though, totally worth that. Then I end up getting a couple games. I end up getting Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed, or Porsche Unleashed, I guess however you say that, on the PS1. I actually don't believe I owned this one for the PS1. But yeah, I end up grabbing that. And it seemed to be in pretty solid shape, I would say. Looks fine to me. And finally, I was actually surprised with this. I had never really heard of this game, and I saw this, and one nice thing is I've been picking up, a lot of original Xbox stuff recently, and every single original Xbox game I pick up, I rip over, so I have them on a folder on one of my hard drives. And I finally got off my ass and ended up putting all the games that were in this folder into a Google Doc, which I can then reference whenever I'm out buying games, so I could see which Xbox games I have, so I could lower the chances of me double buying a game. So I ended up finding this here, and out of all the games they had a ton of OG Xbox games, and I already had almost all of them except for this and a few sports titles. But I saw this Group S Challenge, never heard of it. It just looked like that, and I just asked if I could see it. And I looked, and just from the cover, looks interesting enough. From the back here, looks interesting as well too. I guess I really don't do sports games, but racing games are some of the ones I make exceptions for. And this actually made me say, wow. I guess kind of one giveaway. It still has the label there. Generally, if I see something with a bit of a label, it's generally still in pretty solid shape. Yeah, it is missing that right there, but I've bought brand new games that are also missing one of these. But I ended up looking at the disc, and when I looked at the back, I just said, wow, because this is a spotless disc. So I don't even know if the previous owner ever played this, but yeah, end up getting Group S Challenge. If anyone has any opinions or any thoughts on this game, please let me know. But this is another OG Xbox game added to the collection. Each of these games, by the way, were $5, and then taking the half price discount on them, $2.50 each. So can't be beat on that. And the controller was not discounted, but it was only $3. So I'm not going to complain on that at all. Next up, ended up grabbing a few things from Savers. Now, funny enough, the Segaholic, we've been talking a little bit about this because he just, oh my goodness, he's in Hawaii and he gets crazy good deals at Savers. Like, I saw a video he did. He walked in, I think several months ago, and they had like multiple Xboxes for $15, multiple PS2s for $15, a Wii with everything for like $40, a Xbox 360 for like $25 or $30, a Xbox 360 Slim, Halo 4 edition, that with everything. That was the most expensive one. It was like $70. He could have gotten it for $50. He didn't buy it, unfortunately. He did regret it. But we were talking, and he was like, hey man, show me your Savers. And I was like, their games are pretty good prices most of the time, but they're also the types where for a while they would take anything that was on a cartridge and mark it up to like $20-25 and put it behind their counter. And their consoles aren't really the best prices. Like, they will sell a PS1 with 2 controllers and cables for like $50. So they're not really the best when it comes to hardware, but software, they're generally okay, I would say. But anyways, this is not a game here. This is a gaming-related item, Red vs. Blue Season 3, which I do not believe I own. I think I have the first 2 and a few others. But I end up getting this for $2 because it is a DVD. It's in excellent shape. Next up, I end up getting a few other games which I do not have. So I found Outlaw Tennis for $3. Battlefield Bad Company 2. Now, I have 3 copies of this at this point. I have a disc-only NTSCU version just like this. I have a complete, I believe it is Korean, it's either a Japanese or Korean copy of it, which I showed here in Thrifty Gaming Pickups. And then I have this, which is the full US version. So I now finally have a complete version of Bad Company 2, which I can add to the collection. And it was only $3. And funny enough, this is one of those games where it was behind their shelf. They had several games for whatever reason behind their shelf. And I say for whatever reason because their logic didn't really make sense to me. Like, they had a Star Wars game, Star Wars The Force Unleashed on PS3 for $20. They had Mario and Sonic at the Winter Games on Wii for $7, which I actually looked that one up. That's about the price it goes for, so really nothing special there. They had Skyrim and a few other PS3 games for varying prices, and they had this, just Battlefield Bad Company 2 on Xbox 360 for a standard price. This is the best price thing in there, and I decided to pick it up because I needed a complete copy of this. And finally, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. Now, I have not played this before. I've heard good and bad things about it. The people who really enjoy this really enjoy it. Then there are people, I remember this game, I do remember it hitting the news media a bit because they were giving out the DLC and they were giving out the season pass for free, and they were making a really big deal about it. And I remember I talked with like 1 or 2 people who played the game, and they're like, oh yeah, if you play the game, you'll understand why they're giving out the season pass for free. So I don't know how good or bad this is going to be, but it'll be an interesting play nonetheless. And for $3, sure, why the hell not? While I was also at Savers, I end up picking up a few of these. I end up getting, when these are cheap enough, I'll pick them up, but this is the Xbox 360 composite component video cables for $2. And I also got, I've never seen these ones here, Xbox 360 component cables for $2. And I say I've never seen these because I've never seen component only. This is the one I've always seen. I've seen the composite cables, I've seen the composite component combination, but I've never seen component only. So the reason why I'm getting these is because I also at one point I would like to take some of these and end up fashioning some original Xbox component cables out of them, because on the Xbox 360 I'm going to use HDMI on that, but I would like to experiment and make some component cables for the original Xbox using these. I know it looks really good and it seems to be an easy enough job, so I just haven't done it. I've bought a few of these over, the past few months. I think like 3 now at this point, and I just need to actually sit down and do this, but I want to have a few just so I have backups in case I bork it by any means. So that was all for Savers. And then the last stuff I got here ended up being from Half Price Books. So first of all, the biggest package here was Seen It Lights Camera Action for the Xbox 360. Funny enough, I actually had this exact bundle. When I was working at a game store, at one point it came through. I think it was maybe $30, $35 or so, and I picked it up. And I played it once or twice with friends, and it was fun. But it's really cool because, it is Seen It, of course, but take it off, and I'll kind of even show you what's cool about it. So first of all, I just think this is a little bit strange here. The game itself, which I believe I've picked up the game before on Thrifty Gaming Pickups, and I showed you all the game only. You don't need the special controllers. You really don't. But this is the type of case it comes in. It's just one of these very thin DVD cases, just like that. I really don't know of any other games like this that came on the 360, but I found out 3 Seen It games. There's Lights, Camera, Action, Box Office Bust, I think something like that. And there's a third one, and I don't remember the name, but there's 3 Seen It games. The first one I know of the best, though. And it has, some cool looking graphics here. By the way, all of these controllers, it comes with 4 controllers. All 4 of them had batteries in them. I took them out immediately because I'm not going to use these controllers immediately, and I don't want to clean up corrosion. I really don't want to do that. But as you can see, that's the game itself, and then I'll show you how the controller setup is. So it's in here, and there's the receiver. I already see that. Let's see if I can, I'm just going to have to do this because I can't really do it with one hand. But right here, check this out. This is how the controller looks, and I just think these controllers are really cool. In my opinion, they're cool. And I think for $8, this was a good bundle. But they're in really solid shape too, so they probably weren't used all that often. And you have your start, your back, your guide button, A, B, X, Y, and then that is the actual button you're using for that. And these run onto AA batteries. As for the receiver, it is IR based. So IR right there, IR here. Make sure everybody can access it. And you just hook it up through USB. So it goes into one USB port, it's just an IR blaster, and then that's how you play it. I just always thought that was really cool using the peripherals here. The cool thing is you don't have to have this, so it's not like they locked it behind a paywall. You do not have to have these controllers, but it is so much better to play with the controllers as intended, as designed. So I don't know how many people know about that or how many people have seen it, but that is Seen It on the Xbox 360. So $8 for that I thought was a really great deal, so I decided to pick it up. Next up, you might have seen this stack of memory cards here. Whenever I see memory cards for the PS2 for cheap, I like to pick them up just because I like to have multiples on hand. And I always switch them out between consoles and all that stuff and mess around with them. So especially these official Sony 8MB memory cards, you can't get much better than that, man. The best ones, the ones I still recommend to this day when people ask, like, hey, what type of memory card should I get? 8 megabyte Sony, official Sony. Don't get one of those clone ones. Official Sony 8 megabyte memory card. These things won't go bad on you for the most part. They're Magic Gate compatible. You're not going to lose your saves. They're not going to get crazy corrupted. You can load. Here's another big thing. You can load Free McBoot on these and it will work. So that is why when I see these, I try and snag them up. These were $5 each, and I said, you know what, that's my limit for paying for a memory card, $5. So they had 3 of them. I just decided to snag all of them up. So normally what I do with these, I will load them up with Free McBoot. Not the normal version, the like multiple install version. So that way you could just literally pop it into any PS2 and then turn it on. And as long as it is not a 90,000 series, as long as it's not the final slim model, it'll boot up just fine. So yeah. Got 3 more memory cards to add to the mix. Always try and find those official Sony ones. Next up, got a few other games and a peripheral. So the peripheral I got here is a Xbox 3, well, what am I saying? Not 360. It's a original Xbox Controller S. They actually had another one that was a clone one, or I guess, you know, unofficial bootleg one, whichever word you want to say, for $5. I almost picked it up, but then I saw this, and you know, always get the original controllers, always get those originals. But I saw this, and guess what? It used to be $10, but after a price drop, it was only $5. So I said, well, if it's going to be between $5 for a original and $5 for a bootleg, I'm going to go $5 for the original. I could have also bought both, but I'm like, you know what? I really don't want I really don't want to buy a bootleg controller right now. So I end up getting this guy. Always like to pick up extra controllers when I can, especially if I can for a good price. And $5, I would say, is a great price on that. Now, the last few games we're getting into here, got another PS1 pickup right here. End up getting Namco Museum Volume 3, which I think these games are cool as hell. I had one of them when I was a kid. This is $5 as well, as you can see. And it's cool because you go through and it's like you're actually walking through a museum all in first person, which I always just think first-person games on the PS1 are pretty dope. And then you're able to learn a bit about the games, learn some more history, and then, of course, play the games. And it comes with 6 games on here, which seem to be Galaxian, Miss Pac-Man, Pole Position 2, Dig Dug. Is that Fozon? I've never heard of that. And one other. The Tower of Druaga, I guess. I've never played that either. Crazy. So yeah, I definitely did not have this one. I think I had the first volume when I was a kid, but never 2 or 3. I still need to get volume 2. But yeah, I end up getting that, $5. Why not? This game I've been wanting to get for a while. This is The Punisher, of course, on the original Xbox. It was bloody awesome. Very literally, it was bloody awesome, in my opinion. And this is only $8, so I said, you know what? That is, to me, that's worth it. It's a game I've been wanting to pick up for a long time. So screw it, we'll add it to the collection. And this is where the documents came in handy, because I was able to go through it and find that I did not own it, so I got it. And the last game, another original Xbox game, which I did not own, Tenchu, Return from Darkness. I kind of tapped out of the Tenchu games for a bit. I played the first 2 on PS1, which I thought was really awesome. I played the first one that came out on PS2. I think it was Wrath of Heaven. It was okay. I never played Return from Darkness. I played Tenchu Z on the Xbox 360, which was okay. It'd be really cool if Tenchu made a comeback, but it's Activision from what you can see. And I don't even know if Activision still owns a license for this, and if they do, I almost don't really trust them with it, because they run everything into the ground. $5 for this I thought was a great deal, so I ended up paying $5. That was about it. And just as we're getting to the end here, it looks like Lily also ended up finishing up. Man, she's just, that dog wastes no food. It's amazing. As long as she likes it, she wastes no food. Lily, come here. Lily, come here. Come here. Can you come? She's more interested in the food than she is with me. My goodness. Anyways, this has been this month's episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Again, you know, my favorite pickups here, I'd probably have to say, you know, getting to see it was nice, getting that again. The Grand Theft Auto Vice City official soundtrack was definitely a surprise, and getting these Wii U games was a surprise as well too. But I think my favorite item here is probably the soundtrack, which we went over pretty early. So yeah, that's about it for this episode. If you enjoyed this, a like would absolutely be appreciated. If you didn't like it, a dislike is fine as well too. If you want more episodes like this is a series I have on my second channel, so I'd recommend subscribing here. I did say second channel. If you want videos that are, you know, more modding related, maybe tutorials, maybe other types of things, still gaming related though, but have a lot more editing and a lot more, I guess, less casualness. This is a really casual series. As you can see, I mess up here, I kerfuffle, I don't care. This is just an easy series for me to make that I really enjoy making. Just, I get to talk to you all, it's great. But anyways, I do have a main channel, which is down below in the description, so I recommend checking that out. But anyways, again, like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, but as I always say, if you didn't like the episode, that's fine. You're just gonna make this dog here, this dog who just finished her snack, very, very sad. And look how happy she is. Do you really want to make this dog sad? You don't want to make this dog sad. Come on, you don't want to make this dog sad.